You're listening to Townsquare Sunday. I'm Jim Phillips. New Bedford has long been known as a blue-collar town, but there is something happening in the city, something happening very important. The artists have arrived, and their creative energy is spreading. Cultural coordinator Margot Saulnier joins us today to talk about this energy that's happening. She spoke with us earlier this year, I believe, and we were talking about developing an arts and culture plan for New Bedford. That plan is now complete, and Margot's here to talk about that plan. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Jim. It's a pleasure to be here.
The plan was announced this past week. Why, in your view, is this plan needed for New Bedford? Because there's some who may say, why do we need to do this? I would say there's an art and culture community already bubbling here.
Yes.
And we need a plan.
Exactly. So that was the point of the plan. New Bedford has a history of a really rich arts and culture scene. And by taking the planning process and creating this strategic arts and culture plan, and it's citywide, we are setting the foundation for the future arts and culture goals of the city.
A lot of legwork, a lot of meetings, input. Had taken place over the past 6-8 months or so.
Yes.
To make this plan a reality. Give us an outline of the process. Did you really reach out to 10,000 people? Wow.
Well, many of them reached out to us. So we had a 45-member steering committee, all leaders in the arts and culture community. And we conducted, along with our consulting firm, Web Management Services from New York City, who do plans like this all over the country with cities of our size. So we conducted 50 individual interviews, and then we held 9 public meetings, many focus groups. We reached out through email, Facebook, all of the online media, as well as in-person one-on-one meetings, small group meetings, you name it. If someone said they wanted to comment on the future of arts and culture in the city, we were there listening.
All right. Lots of plans are developed for a lot of different things.
Yes.
Sometimes those plans just stay on the shelf, collecting dust. But I will say this, that I saw some pictures from the City Hall announcement. And there were a lot of excited people who were there. So I don't think this one will stay on a shelf for too long.
No. And we've already begun implementing many of the goals and strategies in the plan. So what you saw at City Hall is a small but powerful group of arts and culture leaders. And there's more of them. Not all of them could make it to City Hall. And they are dedicated to seeing this plan realized. And we are creating a leadership consortium group of those people right now. All of them have been nominated by the community, and they'll begin early in 2019 realizing the plan.
All right. So that was my next question, really. This leadership group will be the group that carries out the vision?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So
they are tasked with implementing the plan and advocating the plan in their neighborhoods and communities.
Now, as we saw on Tuesday, the first round of projects, small projects, have been funded. The grants go anywhere from $10,000 to a few $1,000s to $2,000 or whatever. So and there was a bunch of small projects that some of which we're pretty familiar with that have happened year after year. Where will the funding come from, really? I mean, is there a plan for that? I'm sure there will be, and this leadership group will be working on that as well, I guess.
Exactly. And there is funding. So Mayor Mitchell and the City Council of New Bedford created the city's Arts, Culture, and Tourism Fund, and that money comes from the lodging taxes and is capped at $100,000 a year. Now, the good news is that we have this fund for $100,000 each year. And my task with the participants on the leadership consortium will be leveraging that money to create more money to invest in the community.
All right. And again, we've talked about some, as we said, there were some grants awarded on Tuesday for familiar projects, small projects in the city. And the timeline for other projects, some could be 1 or 2 years and others more long-term, perhaps more larger projects. But that planning will be carried out by this leadership group.
Yes, exactly.
All right. You're listening to Townsquare Sunday. I'm Jim Phillips. My guest is Margot Saulnier, the cultural coordinator for the City of New Bedford. Now, this plan offered some recommendations, or at least some ideas of what was going to be happening here. At the top of the list was what was called a shared services program. And that was mentioned in the press release. What is that? What is a shared services program?
Well, it could look like many different things. The shared services program is to encourage arts organizations, artists, and businesses to work together to share resources. So it could be space, something like the Co-Creative Center right now in downtown is doing. It could be technical equipment, marketing, supplies, and so on. So that's what a shared services program looks like.
By the way, if you're wondering what this is behind, Margot, this is the cover of the plan. We have the plan right here, and it's pretty impressive. Again, I know some people might say, gee, plans have a habit of staying on the shelf, but Margot has assured me that this plan will not stay on the shelf.
It won't. I guarantee it won't.
Getting BCC and UMass Dartmouth involved is also something that you see, at least the report sees, as fairly essential.
Yes.
Why?
They are both. So the College of Visual and Performing Arts of UMass Dartmouth and Bristol Community College, the New Bedford campus, is located downtown and really creates that vibrancy of having youth and energy and input from the faculty and the students. And some people may have seen this happening already. There have been some projects that have been done in Wings Court and Custom House Square. There was a furniture building project that was done recently with the interior architecture students of UMass Dartmouth, and you'll see more of that. One of the Wicked Cool Places grants is going to lighting installations that will be temporary and permanent lighting downtown. So there is this real vibrancy with working with the faculty and students of those colleges and universities.
You're also looking to develop a citywide policy for events and festivals. And again, this leadership group is going to be doing that. The hope is also to create some new cultural districts in the north and south end. I imagine that may be, well, I don't know. You tell us, is that a long-term project?
Well, right now, I should say that the cultural district we currently have is the Seaport Cultural District, which is in downtown. It's a state designation by Mass Cultural Council. And what we're looking to do is to create cultural districts in the north end and south end. We have the International Marketplace and Love the Ave in the north end. In the south end, you have Kilburn Mills and that whole area of, creativity going on. And what we want to do with the cultural districts in the short term is brand those areas and neighborhoods as cultural districts, and then in the long term, get that state designation.
All right. Now, I know Kilburn Mills has taken on a whole new feel, frankly, since the summer when they hosted the giant whaling painting that was just remarkable, actually. And I guess during this holiday season, they're having a performance by the New Bedford Symphony Orchestra inside Kilburn Mills, which I think will be a treat as well. So Kilburn Mills has grasped this opportunity and wants to be a part of this community. Is there anything else going on down there that, in the South End I'm talking, that people could point to?
Well, there's the South End Engaged group, and there's the Blue Lane, and there will be some projects that will be happening along that Blue Lane. And Youth Opportunities Unlimited did a sign, like they have the solar system that is down there on signs, and you'll see more activity like that. And definitely, you are correct. Kilburn Mills has embraced the creative community, and a lot of artists and entrepreneurs are moving to that location. And there are already the Judith Klein Gallery there and the Colo Colo Gallery. So there's a lot happening down in the South End, and we want to encourage that.
You would also like to see, as the plan mentions, more small creative art spaces in the city. Give us an example. What are we talking about there?
Well, one that recently opened up is the co-creative space in downtown. Another is the Your Theater and Whale are working on the Steeple Playhouse and that restoration. And we want to see more spaces like that that provide opportunities not only for visual artists, but also performing artists to have this affordable space to display or perform their work.
So my impression, just from our conversation here, is that there's a lot of stuff that's already been going on.
Exactly.
The wheels have already been turning, and you need someone, perhaps yourself, or the leadership group, to pull this all together, to make it all come together, really, and people working together, which is sometimes easier said than done, I think, right?
Well, we just did it. That's, this whole plan and the publication of the plan is the perfect example of how we have come together as a community with this vision, and now we are about to implement it. It doesn't mean, the mayor said the other day, not everyone agrees all of the time, but this is a very committed group, and we are committed to improving and enhancing everyone's experience who comes to New Bedford or lives in New Bedford.
Citywide policy for events and festivals. Some people might say, well, we've already had, these things already exist. They, we all kind of know when the feast is going to be and when the Working Waterfront Festival and this and that. So why do we need a policy for all of that? Why do we need, some folks might consider that red tape.
Well, what we are attempting to do with that is to eliminate red tape. So how can we streamline the process so that many of the groups already know how things work, but we want to make it accessible to people who don't know, who are in their neighborhood and have a great idea and want to do something. We want to make that accessible to everyone to accomplish.
Okay. And well, that sounds great. I hope it all works.
Me too.
There are groups who are content to do their thing, like everywhere else. I don't mean that that's a New Bedford thing, but there are groups that are content to do their thing. And but are you getting a lot of feedback from a lot of groups? I mean, I know you had all those people there, but for instance, the feast, are they involved? Are they part of this organization?
They were involved early on in the planning process, and they, generously were ones who gave interviews, and they are always welcome to the table for sure for this.
All right. And the Zeitarian greatly involved?
Yep.
All right. This is going to be a process, and even though you've come this far, which is an accomplishment, I'm not downgrading it at all, there are, again, people who want to do things their own way, and they might be reluctant to change. But I think you've experienced that before in your consulting life.
Yes.
And I think you can probably deal with it.
Yeah. And, we want to have different voices. And like I said, not everyone is going to agree. But the one theme that, in my little over a year here, is that everyone loves New Bedford. And, there really is a special authenticity of the place and of the people. So I do see working together and working through differences in order to, accomplish a lot of the goals in this plan.
I imagine you had to do this just to develop this plan.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. That's why I know it can be done, Jim.
Sure. And all of those folks who were there on Tuesday are certainly a good starting army to get the word out and get involved. So clearly, New Bedford, our art, our culture, our future is with us now, and hopefully we can begin to see the fruit of all of your labor very soon. When do you think we'll be able to, what will be the first thing we'll see that we can say, the cultural plan, point to?
Well, you're seeing a lot of it now, like over this past year, what's happened. And you'll see when the grants of the Wicked Cool Places grant recipients begin doing their projects, that will be a clear indication this is the plan at work.
Very good. My guest has been Margot Saulnier, the cultural coordinator for the City of New Bedford. Good luck with this.
Thank you, Jim.
It should be fun. Don't go away. Townsquare Sunday returns in one moment.